Morning, beautiful souls. Dr. Sarah from the International Institute of Holistic Health here. Today, I want to take you on a little journey. I want to discuss some of the teachings that shaped me deeply. The Conversation with God from Neale Donald Walsch, Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, and the teachings of Joe Dispenza, who was one of the teachers of the university I studied, the Quantum University, and how quantum physics is relating to all of this. So welcome to this video. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm glad that you're here. I always love that you subscribe to this channel and support me as much as I'm supporting you on that journey to become more whole, more alive, and happier. I grew up surrounded by amazing healers and teachers. The names might not be very known to many people. René Bonanomi, I've met and worked with Elizabeth Bond, Michael Tamura, Beatrice Kase. You know, growing up in Switzerland, in the Alps of Switzerland, is also growing up in a culture that honors their spiritual teachers, honor their healers working on the subtle realms. And to me, growing up in this context, it was very natural to see people working with energies, people shifting energies, and looking deeper into past lives to explain these situations where you're in. So all of this was very natural and very normal to me, growing up with all these teachers, with these healers, and they deeply shaped me. What I find interesting now is that teachings, like the teachings of Neale Donald Walsch or Joe Dispenza or Eckhart Tolle, the teachings of these three men are just reaching millions of people. And their core essence touches so deeply what I learned, how I grew up, so that I've felt excited to look into these books, these teachings, these talks, to also compare them a little, to draw the conclusions, and to serve them to you. Because if these three men are talking to millions of people, they might have some things in common, how we can explain the deeper longing and satisfactions people find by reading them, by listening to them. Let's start with Neale Donald Walsch, The Conversations with God. And this book is very close to my heart because I read it during 3 months in Nairobi, where I was volunteering as a volunteer in an orphanage near Kikuyu town. And every day for 3 months, I was going into the conversations with God, not just to cope what I've seen in the orphanage, because it wasn't the most uplifting place to begin with, and to understand life on a deeper level, to be present with these children and these babies there, and frankly also with my own path, my own healing, my own understanding of life. I remember that there was one sentence that really, really touched me. Neale Donald Walsch asked the question, what if your life was not about you? What if your life was about all the lives you touch? And this is just a very beautiful core message. And the conversations with God really read as a heart to heart with the universe. Your thoughts, your emotions, and intentions are not meaningless. They shape your experience. Neale really emphasized that God isn't some power just outside of you, but something within that you can connect and you can actually talk to. God is the life force from within, and it's always speaking to you through intuition, through synchronicities, and even through silence. And he also invites you to stop seeing prayers as something you beg for to a person that is outside of you, but really this turning back inwards and seeing you as the light that is part of the bigger light. And prayer is not about asking, but it's about aligning to what you already are, a divine part. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza goes a little bit deeper into the how, not just the what and the why, but how do we reconnect with this? And he is dishing up some science. He did his own studies, and he's heavily relying on quantum physics to explain the how. He explains how the brain and the body are wired, how we can use meditation to shift our electromagnetic field, and how we literally reprogram our biology by tuning into elevated emotions like gratitude and love. Dr. Cho teaches that you cannot create a new future by living in the same energies like in the past. If you always think the same thoughts, you feel the same feelings, and you behave in the same way, you will get the same outcomes. So he is guiding you in his meditations to a shift of focus and consciousness so that you can start to create your life from a new perspective. His meditations aren't just relaxation, they're designed to activate your potential at a level of the quantum field. Then looking into Eckhart Tolle's teachings, and he is just the most centered and walking the talk person. Eckhart gently guides us back into the present moment. He reminds us that the only real moment is the now. The past is already gone, the future didn't happen. What I like about Eckhart Tolle's teaching so much is that he takes you below or above the thinking. It's very aligned with the Buddhist teachings that suffering is a problem of identifying with your thoughts. And the moment you rise above your thoughts or you go below the thoughts by connecting to your body, you shift above or below your suffering. Returning to the present moment by even breathing or stillness or observing a flower, we step out of the pain body and back into our awareness. The nice thing about this teaching is he is not trying to fix anybody or anything, but just remind you to get back to a place where you're already whole. In the quantum field, everything exists as potential, and a particle is not fixed in a place. It is a cloud of possibility, and it is starting to become real when we observe it. And it's starting to change when we observe it. This is called the observer effect. Comparing the three teachers, Neale says, what you observe, you create. Joe teaches where you place your attention is where your energy goes. And Eckhart reminds us what you resist persists till you bring it into your awareness. So, in quantum terms, consciousness collapses the wave function, which means your awareness is not passive, it participates in reality. Think about this for a second. What if your thoughts, your emotional signature, your frequency is shaping your reality moment by moment? This is not wishful thinking. It is physics, it is biology, and it is a spiritual truth. So let's map out the intersections. Conscious creation. Neale says you're always creating, whether you do it consciously or unconsciously. Joe says if you want to change your reality, you need to change your energy. And quantum says observation alters the outcome. Now, the power of presence. Eckhart says now is the only moment that really exists. And Joe's most transformative healing happens in deep meditation states where people enter the eternal now. And quantum physics removes the linear time. Everything exists in a field of potential, outside of space and time simultaneously. Oneness and the connection. Neale says there is only one of us. Eckhart talks about stillness as a doorway to the divine. And quantum entanglement shows how particles stay connected even across galaxies, vast distances. Do you see the overlap? Science is catching up with what mystics have whispered for centuries. What does this actually mean for you in your day-to-day life? For example, that you don't have to wait for outside validation. Everything is already there within. You can trust your inner technology, your intuition, your body, your emotional compass. Meditation is not just nice, it is a powerful tool to rewire your brain. And choosing love over fear, choosing presence over panic, literally shifts your life. So next time you're overwhelmed, place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, breathe slowly, and ask yourself, what am I observing? What is the reality I want to see in order to create it? And this is the moment where your awareness puts you back into the driver's seat. You see, I believe you're not here by accident. You're here because you're waking up. Being around teachers, teachings, healers, yes, 20, 30 years ago, it was a privilege. I feel privileged that I grew up having these contexts as a natural way to see the world. But now, millions of people are waking up to this truth. They're readily available. Everybody can pick up a book, start reading. Everybody can tune into YouTube, start listening to those big teachers, and they nail it. They guide us gently back. You can say to the divine, but I would rather say they gently guide us back to ourselves, to the empowerment of really truly being ourselves and realizing it is enough what we are. It is welcomed the way we are. We don't have to look to belong because we already do. So if you liked this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, share it with somebody you know, and I always love to hear from you. I'm reading all the comments. Please remember, you are the observer, you are the alchemist, you are the now. Much love, and until next time, Dr. Sarah.